Welcome back, everybody. Ready to dive in. Today we're tackling something I know you've all thought about, probably a lot. How to find your ideal career path.
It's a big one.
Definitely a big one. And you know what? Forget those crystal ball apps.
Right, no magic here.
We're going way deeper than that today. You've
Yeah.
given us some really insightful notes and great research, by the way.
Yeah, it's a great jumping off point.
This is about crafting a career based on informed choices, not just luck. What do you think?
Absolutely, it's about taking control, Understanding this decision, it impacts your life, not just your work life.
You hit the nail on the head. It's so easy to get stuck in that find any job mindset just to pay the bills, right?
It's a common trap.
But your notes, they highlight something crucial. This is about your life, your whole life, not just the paycheck.
You got it. And what's interesting, this isn't just some feel-good stuff, it's in the research. Job satisfaction, directly linked to how satisfied you are with life overall. Proven.
I believe it. I've felt that for sure. When work is good, it's not just work,
100%. But here's where it gets even cooler. The research actually digs into why. And it's not just liking your coworkers or getting free coffee, though that helps.
Okay, spill it. What's the deeper stuff?
So one study you sent, really fascinating, talked about autonomy, having control
Yeah.
and being able to use your skills creatively. Those were huge.
Makes sense.
Right? People who feel and control their work, who see the impact of what they do, their job satisfaction was way higher. And get this, that satisfaction, it's spilled over into their relationships, their well-being, everything.
Wow. Okay, so it's not just about finding work that pays the bills. It's about finding work that lets you use your brain, be creative,
And feel ownership. I think that's key.
which, thinking about it, might explain why that Gallup survey you included, what was it? Only 13% of people worldwide feel really engaged at work.
Yeah, that's the one. Pretty stark, isn't it?
It's a lot of people not feeling fulfilled.
And that brings us to another important point from your notes. The possibility of making, costly mistakes, especially when we rush into a career choice.
Tell me about it. That pressure to just pick something, anything. Been there.
Oh, for sure.
But you're right, the material we've got here, it does not sugarcoat it. Rushing into things can really cost you later on, financially, emotionally, the whole 9 yards.
It's true, and it can be tough to recover from. The source, actually, let me see if I can find it. Here. It says, switching careers later in life often means retraining, which, that costs time and money. Sometimes you got to take on debt for more school or start from scratch in a new field, possibly taking a pay cut.
Ooh, that's rough.
Yeah, it can put a real strain on your finances, your personal life, everything.
So how do we avoid that? It really highlights just how important it is to be intentional from the very beginning, doesn't it?
You got it. And that's where those actionable steps you found come in. They're gold.
Yeah.
This isn't about, knowing the future for sure, but about getting the right info so you can make a good choice. One that works with your values, your goals, all that.
Okay, so less about avoiding every single mistake and more about setting ourselves up for success, however we define that, right?
Right. Exactly. It's like, think about it like this. You wouldn't just walk into the first apartment you see and sign a lease, right?
No way.
You think about what you need, your budget, the location, choosing a career. It deserves the same thoughtfulness.
That's a great analogy. It's about understanding what you want, what you need to do well in your work. Speaking of which, where do we even begin?
So the source is really big on this. Self-awareness is key. It's easy to jump right into the job board, salaries, all that. But the source makes a really interesting point. You got to start with looking inward. Self-reflection. What makes you tick? What gets you excited to work on something?
It's like that saying, right? Find a job you love, you'll never work a day. But seriously, how do we put that into practice? It's easy to say, but figuring out what truly motivates you, that's harder.
Yeah, for sure. The source I'm looking at, it suggests thinking back on your past experiences. Could be work, could be personal life even. Anytime you felt that sense of accomplishment, enjoyment, or even just being in the flow,
Oh, I like that.
So what were the common threads in those moments? What tasks, what roles really lit you up?
So it's less about I'm good at math, gotta be an accountant, and more like I love solving problems and I work best when I'm on a team. Something like that.
Bingo. You
Right.
got it. Once you've got a handle on those core motivators, then you can start matching them up with careers. That's where the research comes in, the more practical stuff.
Right. Gotta bring in the facts eventually. Can't just be all vibes.
Exactly. The source, it emphasizes the importance of getting down to the nitty-gritty details.
Love it when a plan comes together.
We're talking about going beyond just the job title. and getting real. Like, what does someone actually do all day in this role? What skills do you absolutely need?
Right, and how's the job market looking for that?
Exactly. What's the growth potential? Average salary? Gonna pay those bills right?
Yeah.
But seeing if it aligns with your financial goals overall.
It's like gathering all the pieces of the puzzle before you figure out if it's even the picture you want to be making, right?
That's a great way to put it. And this is where I think this is some of the most valuable advice in all this material. Networking and mentorship.
Can't overstate how important those are.
Right. It's one thing to read about a job online. It's another to talk to someone who actually does that job. Day in, day out.
Get the inside scoop, the good, the bad, all of it.
For sure. So this source, it's big on informational interviews, reaching out to people in the field you're curious about, going to industry events, getting a feel for the culture, even joining online groups, where people share advice and stuff.
Like a backstage pass to different careers.
Love that. Then you've got mentorship, which honestly can be a game changer. Having someone in your corner who's been there, done that, sharing their experience, maybe even connecting you to opportunities. Huge.
It's like having a career coach, but like for real, someone invested in you.
Perfect way to put it. And, it's not just about you taking. Good mentorship, it's a two-way street. You learn from each other. It's a relationship.
Building connections, that's where it's at. Personally, professionally, all of it.
100%. And speaking of growth, because that's what we're all about, this source also talks about practical experience.
Yeah.
Even if it's not your dream job right away.
So it's not always about landing the perfect job right out of the gate. It's more about getting your foot in the door, getting that real-world experience, even if it's an internship, part-time, something like that.
You nailed it. This source, it really stresses how valuable those experiences are.
Yeah.
Even if they seem, small or not directly related to your end goal. Think of it like a testing ground for your skills, your interests, all of that.
I like that, a trial run. See if the day-to-day reality of a job actually matches what you thought it would be like.
And you never know. Sometimes those experiences, they take you in a totally different direction, open doors you didn't even know were there.
It's like that saying, the best way to predict the future is to create it. But here's the thing, how do you balance that needing experience with needing to, pay rent?
The million-dollar question. Actually, the source I've got here, it talks about this. It suggests looking into paid internships, doing freelance work, maybe a part-time gig in a related field, something where you're still building those transferable skills.
So be resourceful, think outside the box, which actually reminds me of what we were saying earlier about career paths being more like a winding road than a straight shot.
For sure. The days of staying in one job forever, gone. Adaptability, that's the name of the game now. Always be learning and be ready to pivot if you need to.
Which probably explains why this source, it puts so much emphasis on lifelong learning. Always updating your skills. It's not even just about what you know now, it's about being willing to learn new things. As industries change, technology changes, all of that.
Exactly. The world's not slowing down. And that's where, remember those core motivators we talked about, those values?
Yeah.
Those are key. They're like your compass. They help you figure out which opportunities really fit with what you care about, even when everything else is changing.
So less crystal ball gazing, more like packing a really good toolkit.
Yeah.
To navigate whatever comes your way.
Exactly. And honestly, I think that's what makes this whole deep dive so empowering.
Yeah.
We're not giving you all the answers because honestly, nobody has them. But you're walking away with knowledge, with insights, with actionable things you could do to build the career you want on your own terms.
Love it. So as we wrap things up, what's the biggest takeaway you hope people remember as they're figuring out their own career journeys?
Good question. I'd say be curious,
Yeah.
be adaptable, and never be afraid to ask for help. Talk to people in your field. Find a mentor, someone you click with, and just never stop learning, never stop growing.
Such good advice. And hey, listeners, remember, you don't have to have it all figured out today. Right now, that's part of the fun.
Right. Embrace the uncertainty, trust the process, enjoy the ride. It's a journey.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Well, that about wraps up this deep dive. Until next time, everyone, keep exploring, keep learning, keep chasing those dreams. We'll see you soon.